Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since I've made a video. I am currently sick and in bed. And as one does when they are sick and in bed, I'm watching YouTube. And I started watching all these motorcycle restoration videos that get tons and tons of views. And I was watching this one and I've noticed some things. So I wanted to film my thoughts about it, and I've got some thoughts about it. So we're gonna get into this, and I'm gonna point out a lot of the things that I've noticed while watching this video.
Well, my first portion of this recording of me reacting to this apparently didn't record, and as I am now finding out in post-production. But essentially what is happening in this portion of his video is he fills the bike with oil, he puts coolant in the bike, and then he fiddles with some electronics and stuff, and then tries to start it, but he just cranks the starter over and over and over again, and the bike doesn't even stumble or anything. There's no signs of life besides the engine spinning and the starter motor running. To me, it sounds like he took the spark plugs out or something like that and is just cranking it because he knows that it's not going to start, even though he's trying to. Because, I mean, yeah, it sounds like it's just spinning freely. There's no compression. It doesn't even stumble. I think he just took the spark plugs out.
Okay, I don't know why you would do all of this disassembly without washing the bike first. That's just asking for trouble. Okay, so you see how on this fork tube, on the one in the screen right now, it looks like it's just covered with mud, right? And then on this one, on the other side, you can see that he's accidentally scrubbed off some of the mud just by working on the bike, which shows you that this isn't rusted. They've just painted mud on here to make it look rusted. Just clip in more wires. Look at that engine case. You can see the clean metal underneath everything that they've put on top of it. I'll be interested to see when he gets into this engine what it looks like. All right, I think I figured it out. They've sprayed this thing with salt water and let it sit for a few weeks maybe to give some surface rust on all the steel parts. Then they came back and they sprayed it again with like sand or just dry salt and then painted on a bunch of mud on top of that. And that's why it looks so crusty. But they had to make it look like it's actually rusty, so they did spray it with salt water or something like that. But I bet you before they did this, the bike was fine. I bet that they made it look like this on purpose. What is he doing? Okay, so he's collecting rainwater for something. Okay, yeah, I like this. This is ingenious. Maybe he's gonna like clean the parts in this with the rainwater. That'd be cool. Okay, so he's putting some of the rusty stuff in there, it looks like. Okay, the frame, swing arm. So he's just gonna scrub them. Okay, the triple clamps, all those aluminum parts. Oh my God. Okay, he's doing electrolysis rust removal. So, yeah, I don't think I would do this to brake rotors. And that's pretty aggressive for a tank. And he's just really going to town with that wire wheel. But, I mean, that doesn't look bad. Okay, so he's doing electrolysis rust removal to remove the rust. Oh my God. Okay, a couple things. Brake brake caliper, not disassembled, just dunked the whole thing in there. Swing arm, dunked the whole thing in there. It looks like the bearings and bushings are still in there. Both of those parts are aluminum. Aluminum doesn't rust. So why would he be doing electrolysis rust removal on those parts? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, yeah. Triple cush drive hub, all aluminum. Yeah, all of those parts are aluminum. Wheels, aluminum. They don't rust. Okay, now, okay. These aluminum parts have clearly been like soda blasted or something. You can tell by the finish because they're a little rough and they're kind of matte. It's got a matte on the finish. That's what aluminum looks like when it's been soda blasted. Oh, yeah. So the wheels were black before they went into this bath. The wheels were black, right? Electrolysis, it won't make the wheels look like that. And they're aluminum, so they're not going to rust. These have been soda blasted or sand blasted. Oh, dude, you're destroying the edge of the rim there. Yeah, these parts have been blasted with some kind of abrasive media. They're aluminum, so they don't rust, so you don't do electrolysis on those. So that's a huge, huge issue right there. Frame, same deal. The frame's aluminum. You don't do electrolysis on that. The exhaust could be probably steel, so I get that. And the subframe also, I get that. Everything else is probably aluminum. Right? Yep. Oh my God. He painted the foot peg, the rubber foot peg. He didn't disassemble any of it. He just painted right on it. Oh, and same with the brake caliper. It's still in one piece, and he just painted the brake pads also inside the caliper. Oh my God. Okay, painted right over the bearing, the swing arm bearing. Okay, he at least took the wheel bearings out. Okay. Yeah, that tank is rough looking still. I probably wouldn't have painted that without some more finishing work. All right, what is he doing here? Okay, he's looking for some kind of clay, like clay dirt for something. Okay, what is he doing here? Okay, interesting. So like a vibrating like parts cleaner. I like the ingenuity. That's pretty cool. So I guess he's trying to get some small rocks out of some sand to use for the, yeah. Okay, so dirty, greasy bolts go in. He's gonna vibrate them for a while with a bunch of rocks. No, those have been soda blasted. There's no way that those parts went in looking like that and came out looking like that. The rocks would be covered with grease and it just wouldn't look that even. Those have been soda blasted. Yeah, no, I don't believe that. Okay, he did some kind of like anodizing or something with that. I'm not sure about that. I don't know exactly how anodizing works, but I don't think you can do it on steel. So a lot of those bolts probably wouldn't have been able to be anodized, I think. Y'all can correct me in the comments on that one. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, just rub your hand oils all over the tank before painting it. Perfect. Oh yeah, that paint looks just so rough. Okay, see, I told you the tires look good. That shows you that this bike hasn't been sitting like this for a long time. Because those tires cleaned right up. he bent a lot of those fins when he was pressure washing the radiator. You don't pressure wash radiator. Yeah, the water pressure just ruined this thing. Dude, he created this problem for himself by using a pressure washer. Yeah, you wouldn't need to do this otherwise. This is crazy. He's lucky that he didn't ruin the thing. Okay, so doesn't look like he's rebuilt the forks. And he painted over the fork seals. And he's painting the calipers all in one piece again. No prep work. Yeah, he painted right over the fork seals. That's a new handlebar. There's no way that's the original. Wait, okay, let's look at this paint for a second. Painted right over the fork seals. On this tank, it looks pretty shiny, so like you can't see a lot of the imperfections, but if you look at the top right, you can see a lot of the imperfections in the paint job right up there. Oh, and down here right in the middle of the frame too, you can see the reflection, and you can see that it's really uneven. Yeah, man, he got paint on everything. You wouldn't paint on the inside of this hub right here. Right here, none of this stuff should be painted. Because this is where bearing sits. And then this is where your brake rotor sits. So, you wouldn't paint that portion of the hub. Same deal on this one. The bearing sits right in the middle here, and you don't want to paint that. The valve stem is painted red also, so he didn't take the valve stem out when he painted the rim. Oh my god. Wait a minute, did he paint the axle? Man, that axle looks spray painted, doesn't it? I think he spray painted the axle. Either that or anodized it. I don't know. Okay, so he just spray bombed the shock with black spray paint. Didn't pack the bearing correctly. Just impact driver on everything. Okay, the washers are interesting. I don't know if that's stock or not. Maybe it is. That rotor is looking rough after that wire brush. No torque wrench. Don't need one. Missing the bearing seal covers. Well, that side has it. Doesn't look like the other side did. God, those fork seals are killing me. Oh, and the painted calipers. Oh, look at the paint's even chipping off. Look at that. Oh my god. Man, this looks just like that bite that the 18-year-old gets and then just spray bombs with spray paint. Why does he have those forks so high up in the triples? Okay, the engine. Let's see what he does with the engine. Oh, thank God, he's at least cleaning it a little bit. Still not much, though. I would have done more. See, the rust on the carburetor screws and everything in here makes me think that they did spray it with some salt water or something to make it rust. At least some surface rust, to make it more believable. But Yeah, I think that's all that this is. I bet this engine was running perfectly fine before they did all this to this bike to make it look like this. What is going on here? That's not very good weld technique either. You want continuous bead. You don't want to just tack weld over and over again. Okay, so it's a flywheel puller. Good deal. All right, let's see what these valves look like. Oh yeah, they look clean. I bet this engine was running perfectly fine before they did all this. Honestly, I bet this bike was totally fine before they did all this. Yeah, look how clean that is. The only reason this engine needed to be rebuilt is because they did all this and got a bunch of stuff inside it, I bet. Oh, what are you doing? What was that for? Clutch looks pretty decent. Yeah, this engine was fine. I'm just scared to see how he puts it back together. Okay, didn't do it in the proper order. You gotta undo the camshaft holders in the proper order. All those cylinders look totally fine. But the coolant passages look terrible. I don't know what they put in there to make them look like that. Maybe more salt water, I guess. Yeah, his editing is so fast. It's hard to tell what he's doing exactly. Okay, yeah. The only reason that crankshaft has dirt on it is because they've gotten dirt inside the engine while doing this. All of those parts look totally fine. I'm scared to see this blasting cabinet. That's how they've done this whole thing. The electrolysis and all of that is just for the video. This blasting cabinet has seen all of the work for this rebuild. So they took the engine all the way apart and then they reassembled the cases to do this. Why wouldn't you just tape off the parts you don't want to blast and then just do it that way? Yeah, you're still gonna get blast inside the cases even if you reassemble them. Seems not great to me. Wait a second. Okay, so they have not masked off anything. All of the exhaust ports are open. All of the cylinders that are on the bottom there are unmasked. Dude, you don't need sealant with paper gaskets like that. This engine is gonna have so much like rubber stuff inside it. Oh my God, the radiator hose has paint on it. Watch this. Look at that. The radiator the coolant hose has gold spray paint all over it. Oh no, he used some kind of the same gasket sealant on the radiator hose. Look at that. You see the white stuff? He used RTV sealant on a radiator hose. Don't do that. See all that gaskets, all that sealant seeping out of the engine cases? Not good. This is pretty ingenious. I appreciate this. Like I said earlier, like I like the ingenuity for some of these things. Okay, so this is what the clay is for. He's making fairings. Okay, see, this is pretty neat. Like, I like the ingenuity here. Using the wire mesh to give it some structure, using the clay to give it a surface. I bet you they'll do like fiberglass or something. Okay, he's doing a whole new tail section. I hope it comes out, I hope the fairings come out looking cool, because if they do, this is neat. Yeah, they're gonna fiberglass it. Okay, they're just doing it right over the clay. I don't know enough about fiberglass, but I assume that that could be kind of problematic. And he really should have done a few more layers of fiberglass. That looks really flimsy. Yeah, that's way too thin. When you're out riding that, it would just like flap around from all the wind. Like, that's too thin. Okay, I'm assuming, yeah, this is body filler. So like Bondo, body filler. Okay, so what's going on is that they weren't able to get it smooth enough, just the fiberglass. So they're using body filler to clean it up. And you don't really use body filler on fairings. It's just too likely to crack. So I bet you this will look good for the end of the video, but in real life, like this would crack and fall apart relatively quickly. The Bondo body filler stuff, it just can't handle like the flexibility of plastic. Man, that is still so rough looking. Look at all the holes and stuff. Okay, he's just resoldering the connections together, which, okay, like, it's okay. You can do that. It's not, I wouldn't do that, but I guess you could. Oh, that chain's got some kinks in it. I probably would have replaced that if it was truly as old as they're making it out to be. Okay. Yeah, the fairings, I mean, they don't look great, but they don't look absolutely terrible. I think from 20 feet they look pretty good, probably. On the outside at least, like on the inside up there in the top left, like that's just like left unfinished, it looks like. Okay, he's vacuum bleeding brakes, that's fine. After all that work, why wouldn't you recover the seat? The painted foot peg is just killing me. They're supposed to be black rubber right here. I love how he just spray painted it silver. Didn't even bother to take it off or mask it or anything. That just kills me. That fuel line's been spray painted. God, the brackets for that front fairing just don't look good at all. Okay, it runs. I mean, I'll give it that, it runs. Oh, the fairing's crooked. Look at that. It's pointing to the right. Look at the headlights. And the handlebars are like angled so low for some reason. I bet those hit the tank when it turns. Oh, and the clutch is angled way too high. Let's go back for a second. Okay, so first problem, handlebars will hit the tank when you turn. Look at his hand in the clutch lever. Look how high it's pointed up, so high. Oh man. Well, I mean, it works. Who knows how it is to ride, but it does run. Well, I mean, it runs. It sounds decent. It sounds like it's running okay. Still though, I mean, I bet you can barely turn that thing because of those handlebars. Not a problem at higher speeds when you can lean it, but like at low speeds, that is a problem. Well, normally these videos end with some kind of like walk around, and this one doesn't, and I think that's for a good reason, because it probably doesn't look that great. So I'm just gonna pause it here and let's try to take a look at some stuff. So, yeah, here's the first thing. There's spray paint on the swing arm guide. Handlebars way too low, no bar ends. The front fairing doesn't line up right here. It doesn't, I mean, to each their own. If the owner likes it, great. Like I'm not trying to shame anyone for their bike, you know, choices or whatever, but to me, this fairing does not work with the bike at all. It's way too tall. The brackets look terrible. And the seat, I mean, if you go through all that work, recover the seat with some fresh vinyl. Like it's not that difficult. I'm curious though. I want to take a look at the bike before he did all this work and compare. So I'm going to go back to the front of the video. Here's a good spot. Man, honestly, I think it looked better like this. Yeah, I don't know. Well, to sum up my thoughts on this, I think these videos are good entertainment value, but that's it. Like, these are not how-tos. Don't do things like the way these types of videos do things. There are so many issues that I saw with the way that they rebuilt this bike. I wouldn't ride it like this. Yeah, there were so many shortcuts taken and just things that someone who knows what they're doing doesn't do, you know? Like painting the bearings is a big one. Painting and doing all that work to the brake calipers without disassembling them and cleaning them, huge issue. Painting the fork seals, don't do that. I mean, clean the bike before you disassemble it. Clean the engine before you disassemble it. So it blows my mind that these types of videos get millions and millions of views and all of the comments are like super positive, and they're just like showcases of what not to do when working on bikes. So, you know, next time you watch one of these videos, take it with a grain of salt. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. I know it's probably just a lot of me rambling, but I've seen so many of these videos at this point, and I just had to like make a video where I talked about what I noticed, because I see so many issues in these things. And it's the same with bicycle videos too. There's so many of these videos of restoring bicycles where they just make all kinds of mistakes, and they're just, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take a step back and just leave it at this. These are not how-to videos. These are entertainment only. And the internet is not a real thing. So take everything you see with a grain of salt. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys liked this. And I'll see you on the next one.